Hello Year 10, this is Mrs. Hext and this is your drama remote learning for Friday. I would like you first to prepare for the lesson. You will need a piece of paper and a pen. And just a reminder, we're currently studying the play DNA and we're doing this in preparation for component 2, so you can think about decisions that theatre makers make and important decisions about how you bring your own characters to life in your scripts. And also in preparation for your exam unit, which is component 3, where you'll respond to the play DNA and think about some decisions again that theatre makers make. So important knowledge for you to have is about the themes and issues explored in the play DNA. So that's going to be your title for today, Lesson 3, Themes and Issues. You also have 4 retrieval questions, which I would like you to have a go at answering. And remember that retrieval is a really important part of the lesson because this allows you to strengthen those connections and make that knowledge stay in your long-term memory. So there are 4 questions on the screen. I'd like you to pause the video and spend no more than 5 minutes working through those questions. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at answering those questions. We're going to go through the answers now so you can tick and fix as appropriate and make sure you've got the correct answer noted down. So question number 1, what is a theatre and performance convention? We explored that in our last lesson together. A performance and theatre convention is any technique that is a feature of the play. Number 2, which characters act as the chorus in the play? So Jan and Mark appear together at the beginning of each scene and they act as narrators or as a Greek chorus. And that might link in with the knowledge of Greek theatre that you gained in Year 9. 3, what are the 3 settings in the play? The play is set in a street, a field and a wood. And which character do the group believe to be dead? The group believe that Adam is dead. So I'll just give you a moment now to tick and fix, write down any answers that you need recorded onto your paper. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to begin with a quick recap of the plot in the play. Now, there is a video, so you'll need to pause this one, go back on to show my homework and click the first link, which will take you to the BBC page, which gives you an overview of the play DNA by Dennis Kelly. So if you could pause the video here and head over to that website, watch this video, it will take about 5 minutes. Off you go. So now hopefully you've had a chance to watch the summary of the play, the recap of the plot. What I'd like you to do is create your own summary of the play now, and I'm going to add extra challenge to this because you have to summarise the play in exactly 10 words. So you need to be really careful with your word choices and not use any extra words. 10 words, summary of the play, off you go. Wonderful stuff. Now, to explore the key themes in the play, we're actually going to focus in on Act 1 and we're going to look at a summary of Act 1 and think about what key themes are explored there. But to do that, we need to know what is a theme. So themes are the main ideas that lie beneath the surface of a text. These are the big ideas, messages and issues that are explored through the characterization, dialogue and plot. So your first task from this slide will be to copy down that information. So write down what is a theme and then the information underneath. And then I'd like you to have a go and spend just 2 minutes thinking about what themes do you think can be seen in DNA? What are the main ideas in DNA that come through? What big issues does the playwright explore? Okay, so try and list at least 3 themes at this stage. I'll give you one as an example. One of the themes is bullying. But what other big ideas, messages and issues are explored? So you've got 1 to write down, see if you can write a couple more. So to summarise, I'd like you to write down the information on this slide and then see if you can list some of the themes that you think can be seen in DNA. Off you go. Okay, so now that you've had a go at thinking for yourself what the key themes in DNA are, I'm going to share with you some of the key themes and how they're explored through the play. So the writer explores the idea of responsibility because no one wants to own up or take responsibility for what has happened, for the death of Adam. One of the other key themes is about status. So John Tate and Phil gain a higher status in different ways. Both use their power to control the group. And Adam and Brian have the lower status within the group. It also explores the theme of bullying, because Adam is bullied because of the need to be part of the group. The pack mentality allows the bullying to get out of hand. Truth, although it quickly becomes clear that there is a need to confess what actually happened, the group work hard to cover up the truth. We also explore the theme of consequences. The psychological impact of the events has profound, significant implications for each character. And also peer pressure. So there's a collective pressure over individuals, which means that the violence towards Adam continues. It also stops anyone from telling the truth. They all feel under a certain amount of pressure to conceal the truth. So I'd like you to copy down each of these themes and the explanation that goes with it. You can present it how you like, in a list if you like, or you can create a mind map. That's up to you, as long as you have it in your notes. Off you go. So now we have a list of each of the key themes and a bit of information about how it's explored in the play. I would like you to choose 4 of these and to just do a quick sketch of a tableau that demonstrates each theme. Now remember that a tableau is like a freeze frame of a piece of drama. I'm not in any way looking for artistic masterpieces here. I'm happy for you to use stickmen, etc. But what I would like you to do is to try and think about how you can demonstrate each of these themes in a tableau. So I personally would draw 4 boxes on my page, and then inside of each of those boxes I'd draw a tableau, just a quick sketch of some characters on a stage that explores one of those themes. As an example, I might think about status, and I might think about how I could use levels to demonstrate the status of John Tate or Phil, perhaps. Maybe they would be stood up while other characters were kind of cowering or sat down, and that would show their status over the other characters. Think about how you can draw a tableau that shows peer pressure. So again, you could think about how you would create levels, how you would show a character being under pressure. Maybe you could sketch a body language that would show pressure. So choose 4 of the themes and draw a tableau, draw a quick sketch of how you think that would come to life on a stage in a freeze frame. Off you go. Just as a side note before you pause, I'd like you to spend around 10 minutes completing this. Okay, off you go. Wonderful stuff. So I really look forward to seeing the tableaus that you submit at the end of this lesson, and I'll talk through how you're going to submit your work when we get to the end. So, in terms of themes and issues, DNA deals with a whole host of contemporary issues through its portrayal of a particularly disaffected and alienated, teenage-orientated view of the modern world. The characters are loosely drawn and not often given space to comment on anything other than their immediate world and the complications of the relationships through which it's structured. The scenes are full of confrontational situations, often framed around a character addressing another with no response. And at times this creates scenes constructed of a series of monologues. This lack of communication builds powerful dramatic tension and often explodes into furious argument between characters and within characters. So in that sense, it's a really clever play because it's really zoomed in on the characters and their interactions or lack of interaction. And the writer manages to explore some really important and powerful themes through these scenes. So again, to consolidate our knowledge of the themes and to summarise what we've learnt so far about the themes, I would like you to pause the video and head over to your second link, which is on the BBC again, and it's called Main Themes DNA by Dennis Kelly. Okay, to help you find it and make sure you're watching the right one. That video is approximately 7 minutes long, so I'd like you to pause the video and head over to that one before coming back for the final part of our lesson. Off you go. Okay, so wonderful stuff. What I'd like you to do now is to look at your notes and see if there's anything important that you would like to add that's come about through your watching of the video. And then we'll move on to our next activity. So we are going to explore Act 1, and the big question we're going to seek to answer through our exploration is which themes are explored through Act 1. So in this moment, the group are arguing about whose side they are on and then discuss what they had made Adam do. We're going to go through it bit by bit, and with each section of this scene, I would like you to note down which themes are explored. So this is a summary of the first section. Mark and Jan stand on a London street. Mark has just told Jan that someone they know is dead. Jan is in disbelief. Jan asks if Mark is sure that their mutual acquaintance is dead, or if he's joking. Mark insists he is being serious. Jan asks Mark if their acquaintance could be hiding, but Mark says he's certain the person is dead. Jan asks Mark what they are going to do. Mark does not answer her. So I'd like you to pause and I'd like you to have a think. Which of our key themes that you have written down are explored in section 1? So you can present this by writing section 1 onto your piece of paper and then write down which themes are explored and how you know. Okay. Here's a reminder of our key themes to help you. So do you think this section 1 of our key scene explores the idea of responsibility, status, bullying, truth, consequences, or peer pressure? So write down which of the key themes, it can be more than one, is explored in section 1, and then tell me how. Okay. Section 2 then, and a reminder of our key themes. Elsewhere, Leah and Phil sit in a field. Phil eats an ice cream. Leah asks Phil what he's thinking, but he does not answer her. Leah assures Phil that he can tell her anything, but he remains silent. Leah continues to ask Phil questions, desperate to get him to talk to her. When he refuses to answer her, she tells him that she knows she talks too much, but can't help it. Leah talks in circles as she tries to brag to Phil about her other friends. But it is clear from Leah's self-consciousness and nervous speech patterns that she doesn't really have anyone else to talk to. So which themes are being explored here? As an example here, we know that Phil has higher status. How did he gain that higher status in this particular section? So you're going to write down section 2 and explain to me which of these themes are explored and why. Okay. So in this section, I think he also explores the idea of truth, because Leah starts to brag about other friends, but it's clear from her self-consciousness that she doesn't really have any other friends that she can really talk to. So this idea of truth is explored. Status, Phil has higher status, and his lack of talking almost is intimidating to Leah as she begins to apologise for talking too much. Okay. Section 3 then, write down section 3. At last, Leah admits that she is scared. Everyone here scares her, she says, and she knows she's not the only one living in fear. Everyone else she knows is scared too. Again, she asks Phil what he is thinking, but he doesn't answer her. Mark and Jan enter together and tell Phil and Leah that they all need to have a talk. Which of our key themes are explored here? Okay, have a think, write some down and explain. Off you go. Okay, so one of the key themes I think is explored here is bullying. So Leah admits that she's scared and that everyone here scares her. And she knows she's not the only one who feels scared. So we get that idea of bullying because there's that pack mentality. No one wants to break free from it and it causes fear. We also get the idea of peer pressure coming through because they all feel that collective pressure to conceal the truth. We could also argue that consequences are explored in this particular section, section 3, because of the fact that Leah feels scared. And she talks about the psychological impact of the events that are happening around her. And finally, section 4. In a small wood, Lou, John Tate and Danny stand around talking. John Tate assures Lou that everything is going to be fine. I can't say the word there because it will make it inappropriate for YouTube. For the moment, in a tricky situation, John Tate asks Lou if she's scared of anyone at their school. Lou replies that she's scared of John Tate. John Tate asks if there's anyone other than him Lou is scared of, and Lou said she's scared of Richard. John Tate tells Lou that as long as she sticks with him and Richard, she'll be fine. So this is an interesting one because I think lots of our themes are explored here. So I'd like you again to choose a couple of the key themes and explain how they're explored in section 4. Off you go. Okay, so some of the themes that I think are explored here are status. John Tate clearly asserts his status over Lou, suggesting that she needs to stick with him and then she'll be fine. He offers her some false kind of protection from what's going on. There's also peer pressure because she feels pressured to stick with John Tate and not to break free of the group and speak the truth about what's been happening. And also bullying, because I think John Tate does use a certain amount of intimidation there. Okay. So our next task then that I'd like you to complete is to choose a character, any of the characters you like. You could choose John, Danny, Kathy, Richard, Lou, Mark, Brian, Jan or Mark, and think about how they appear in that particular scene that we've just read the summary of. What I'd like you to do once you've chosen your character, and you can go back if you want to have a look, I would like you to imagine that you're performing that particular role in a piece of drama, and I'd like you to answer the 3 questions. Thinking specifically about how you're going to use your character to explore one of the key themes. For example, if you chose John Tate, you might think about how you're going to explore the key theme of status, or bullying, or peer pressure. And for him, you'd be thinking about how you'd use your voice to highlight and enhance the communication of themes and issues. So it might be that John Tate speaks loudly, for instance, to assert his power. Then I'd like you to think about your use of physicality. How would you use physicality to highlight and enhance the communication of themes and issues? So where would your character stand on the stage? How would they stand on the stage? What would they be doing? Would they need any props, for instance? And then finally, how might your non-verbal communication contrast with your vocal and physical choices to support themes and issues? So what kind of gestures do you think your character would make? So I'd like you to answer those 3 questions. So the main things that I would like you to be submitting at the end of this lesson are evidence that you've written down the key notes as we've gone through. I would like your 4 sketches of tableaus, and most importantly, because we're really thinking about how we can use this idea about themes and issues to bring characters to life and affect our own drama, I would like your reflection activity, your 3 questions answered, imagining that you're playing one of the characters. Please make it clear to me as well which character you've selected. Now you can submit your work through Show My Homework, or if you're having trouble submitting it through Show My Homework, you can also email it to me. I'll make sure I put my email address on your Show My Homework. Okay, well done guys, and I really look forward to seeing the work that you submit. This is really important, so please make sure you've given it your best shot and have all of the notes that you need, and bring them into school and we can glue them into your exercise books because it will be useful for revision later. Okay, thank you very much.